Podcast is intended for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed are those of the panelists and do not reflect in any way those of the podcast partners, sponsors, or affiliates. Enjoy.
It's ridiculous. I've seen it myself. I don't know what to make of it really, because it's quite a weird one. That there was a statement before that was put out there that said he was suspended, even though I was a bit baffled by it, because VADA testing is one that the WBC stand by, and he was cleared by that. And then for them to turn around and say he was suspended was a bit strange. And now, further a few weeks down the line, them now to say, well, he was never suspended in the first place.
BoxingVoice.com.
What broke him down? Was it just the body punching? I was hitting him with body punching. I heard him actually, he was crying in there. You're saying that Biggs was crying when you hit him? Yes. When did that happen? And perhaps the fourth round on?
BoxingVoice.com.
So that you knew you had him by that time? Absolutely, but I knew he was tough and taking those punches.
WBO Productions.
Making women gestures like,
Let's go, champ.
Welcome back and good morning, TBV. Welcome back to another edition of the Boxing Voice Radio. I am your host, Nestor Gibbs, and we are back with another one. The WBO denies Dillian White's appeal and instead stick to their initial ruling, leaving Oleksandr Usyk as their number one contender, and obviously put poor Dillian White to the side. So this is what we're going to be talking about today, and we're trying to get a couple guests on the show. If you're interested, you know the number to call in, 1-425-569-5241. Press 1 one time to voice your opinion right here on the Voice of the People hotline. Now, don't forget that Oleksandr Usyk now, as the mandatory, becomes the mandatory 2 Ruiz versus Joshua winner. So whoever wins, that's who will get that shot. Or rather, who will have to face Usyk. So, yes, sir. Talk to me right here, 1-425-569-5241. Don't forget to add Nestor Gibbs on Skype. Let me go out to my co-host in Indiana, Michael Gross.
WBO Productions.
I speak it, believe it, receive it. Speak it, believe it, receive it.
BoxingVoice.com.
So when I stop him, y'all gonna say he was too weak. And he stayed out for 47.
A man stand up for what he believe in, and when you stand up for what you believe in, you accept whatever consequences come behind it.
BoxingVoice.com.
Lions in the camp. Lions in the camp. What up, what up, what up? Shout out to everybody out there in the TBV universe. Back with another one. And yes, Dillian White applied for appeal with the WBO. And they stuck to their guns and denied his appeal. And Usyk is the mandatory for the heavyweight title, the winner of Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz. So we'll break that down and we'll try to figure out. I don't want to say why, because I know why he applied for the appeal, but it just doesn't look good after your little suspension or your failed drug test. But this is what we'll be talking about. Break it down and get into it. What's going on, Ness?
Nothing, brother, man. Another day, another podcast. Obviously, here to discuss Dillian White. Still no word on that B sample. No word on his status. Just more bad news, man. WBO steps in and denies Dillian White's appeal. He was trying to get that, interception, get that blockage there because, Oleksandr Usyk, as super champion in the cruiserweight division, activated that status, contacted the WBO, let him know he wanted that mandatory status, and he gets a shot at the winner of Ruiz versus Joshua 2 next. Dillian, being in that position for some time, being in that sanctioning body rankings for some time, thought that, maybe putting in a petition, a motion, an injunction, trying to stop it some way, he would. It wasn't successful. But still no word from Dillian White. I mean, if you check his alleged brother's account, they were in the gym not too long ago working out, so at least he's remaining healthy until the outcome.
I know what a lot of people are thinking, man. He tried to hop into the WBO when the WBC suspended him. I mean, you could look at it like that, but I wouldn't give it that much credence because Dillian White was, like Ness said, he was ranked in the WBO at number 1 for a long time. So when Usyk moved up, they granted him the mandatory position. So he kind of had a maybe a case to try to
I mean, it's right up his alley, right? This is the same song and dance that he did with the WBC. Like, oh, I'm here for 600 days. So now he's saying the same thing with the WBO. Like, yo, I was here first. How you gonna rank this dude above me? You know, and I don't think he's dropping out of anything. I think he's just trying to keep all doors open, right? Like, it suits him to be highly ranked in both or be the mandatory in both. But the verbiage of this denial. And that's why I wanted to get the writer Jake Donovan on. I got to check my Twitter, see if he responded to me. I got his number, but I felt like it was a little early to call. But, yeah. So they're basically saying because Dillian White is the interim titleist in the WBC, he cannot be the mandatory in the WBO. Did you follow that?
Because he's a chair. Well, I was trying to get to it, but the way that they look at it is like even if you're interim champion, I think because Regis was the interim champion in the WBC, he was able to fight for a WBA, but it wasn't like it was a mandatory. It was a part of the tournament, and it was a part of the first or second round. So when Dillian White got granted the WBC mandatory status, I think that took him out of play. Well, not mandatory, but the interim champion status. I think that took him out of play for the WBO, so I can't really get mad at the WBO ruling. But I thought since the WBC maybe suspended or put his interim, they didn't suspend, they just said that they put it on hold, which is kind of the same thing to me. But since they put his interim status on hold, I thought maybe it could possibly have some wiggle room. But
well, I don't know about on hold. I mean, on this show, Mauricio used the words his interim status and his mandatory status are placed on suspension. He is not placed on suspension.
I started with suspension. He was like, well, Dillian White is not suspended. He's on his mandatory status and his thing is on hold. That's why I use on hold and not suspension, because I led with the suspension question. He was just like, no, he's not suspended. Go back and listen to it. We got him on tape.
I'm pretty sure he used the word suspension. My interpretation is that he clarified it to you specifically, letting you know the fighter isn't suspended. The sanction and the mandatory is suspended. But if you think otherwise, I mean, you could clip it, prove me wrong.
Not that deep. But yeah, man, his shit is suspended on hold, however you want to put it. But to me, it's the same thing. Like until the case comes out and they get the proof of the B sample or proof of whatever that they need proof of. You know what I'm saying? Because it shouldn't take this long for a B sample to come out. If it was taken on July 17th, the first sample, and this August 20th. Now that's a whole month. Like, did he get lost in traffic or something like that? I mean, what's going on? So I don't think we'll get any clarification on the sanctioning bodies, the WBO or the WBC, until then. Well, we got a clarification on the WBO, but WBC until Dillian White B sample comes out.
I just wonder what's taking so long, and if his status is on, and what I mean by so long, I mean, you know, an outcome, a resolution to what took place. Give us some answers. And in reference to suspension, hold, whatever term you want to use or whatever Mauricio used, doesn't that still free up Dillian White to be the WBO mandatory? So according to everything the WBO is saying, they're saying, well, we can't give you this status because you're already the interim. But if his status is on hold or suspension, how is he the interim?
There was my question. Maybe I don't know. To be honest with you,
Exactly.
Dillian White,
I think the WBO is just pulling a fast one here. It's like, look, he's being quiet anyway. Let's railroad him. Because if WBC is saying he's not the interim titleist anymore, that it's on hold. We'll go with that. That he's not the mandatory, that it's on hold. We'll go with that. So they should have put in their verbiage, okay, maybe, when they find out the outcome at least of the WBC, I don't know. They're just kind of doing what they want.
Honestly, it seems like they are waiting for the WBC to make a rule, because if he is the interim champion, then he can't be mandatory. But if he's not, then they might go back and revisit his case. But I don't see them.
Yeah, but in the meantime, or in the interim, to use sanctioning body words, doesn't the sanctioning body and boxing world just continue to move on?
Yes, with Usyk being the mandatory for the winner of Joshua Ruiz, that is clear as day right now. So we'll see how that plays out. But yeah. Dillian White, man, I mean, I would be kind of upset, but I did do some things that put me in a precarious situation. But I was looking at the WBO rankings, and he was number one for a long time, just like the WBC. Poor Dillian White can't get a break, can he?
That's what I'm saying, man. To fall from two sanctioning bodies as their number one or their mandatory, something needs to happen. Again, if the WBC placed them on suspension or hold, then the WBO shouldn't be acting. He's not a champion, which is crazy. Okay, let's just talk about that for a little bit. The fact that the WBC rules state that an interim champion is a champion except when they want to challenge the real champion. So you got to walk, talk, and act like a champion with the interim title, but you ain't really the titleist, and you can't challenge the full titleist because you're just an interim titleist. I mean, but you will be dropped from any other sanctioning body, because according to the WBO, the IBF and the WBA will also drop you there and don't recognize super champions, regular champions, or interim champions on either sanctioning body. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why Regis dropped that WBC interim. What did he drop it, or did he keep it? I think he dropped it, that WBC interim belt, because he was supposed to fight Jose Ramirez, but they wanted him to act like a champion and still take some interim fights before he got that fight with Jose Ramirez. So he hopped in the tournament and fought for the WBA title. So yeah, man, it's not the first time that they've done something like this. So I do believe, we all know that he's not the champion, but it's like, WBC is trying to make it seem like he is until he gets his shot. So we've seen it with more and more sanctioning bodies as we delve deep into boxing. You know what I'm saying? WBA, WBC, WBO, everybody got a lot of titles, and we've seen the IBF actually have a interim title. I remember when Jose Usyk fought Anthony or Andre Durrell for the interim belt because James DeGale was injured. So yeah, man, we've seen it happen more than once in boxing. So it's not shocking to me that sanctioning bodies value interim champions as real champions.
For sure, man. I mean, where do you think this leaves White? Some people saying, oh, this is all, fake news to keep White away from Deontay. Shouldn't he be more vocal if it was fake news? I mean, Tyson Fury, he didn't go dog. He was letting you know, like, yo, they setting me up. This is a lie. But I mean, I guess that didn't mean anything either, right?
I mean, not really. Still got a 2-year, what's it called?
2-year ban, right? But they ran it retroactive, though. Yeah.
So with Dillian White, I agree. Like, this doesn't leave him in a good position. I mean, what if he comes out that the WBC does find him in some kind of fault? That means he might have to be out of the rankings for like 6 months. So he might have to go down another section body road just to get a title fight. In my opinion, in order for Dillian White to get that fight that he wants, he's gonna have to start being like Clubber Lang, start going to guys' fights, start going to guys' weigh-ins, start going to guys' everything, just to make these guys mad and like piss them off because nobody really wants to. I don't say nobody wants to give him a shot, but nobody's really fucking with Dillian White right now at all.
So Andre Diakonu with the super chat says, shout out to the #1 podcast net. So you're going to the press conference to ask Eddie some real questions, tired of the passive UK interviews. What are you talking about, next week for the Derevchenko?
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. Or no, tomorrow. Madison Square Garden, Triple G. I'm pretty sure Eddie, you don't think Eddie's going to be there?
I thought they said a Tuesday. I could be wrong.
Oh, they said Thursday. Well, I did read a tweet. It wasn't a press release. It was a tweet from somebody that said Thursday at Madison Square Garden. So I could be absolutely wrong, and they could be wrong too. But I think that's what Andre Diakonu is referring to.
I mean, I guess I could get out there. I don't have no issues with it. I mean, I'm not seeing anything though. That's Charlie Edwards. Where's that at? That's probably the UK.
Yeah, Charlie Edwards. He fighting it this weekend.
Yeah, well, he had a media workout. I guess
he might be fighting on the 31st there on that Crawler and Lomachenko card.
Liam and Jonah Carl added to the Mexico card.
Yep. They be fighting this weekend on the Beeman and Estrada card.
So is Flip. He's on that card too. Yep. Let me see. This was for the Serranos. I probably missed that though. Manhattan. Yeah, they did that already. And Eddie didn't go to that. I don't know which one he's talking about. He got to be talking about the Derevchenko, but that's not official yet. It's not all the way official. They're supposed to have an announcement, press conference or something like that next week. But let's open up these phone lines, man. Those really are just my thoughts. We're more or less reporting. So, yeah.
Remember to rate us 5 stars on iTunes.
Subscribe to youtube.com/theboxingvoice for the latest and greatest interviews with your favorite fighters.
These calls are brought to you by El Camino Electrical Services, experts in electric vehicle charging stations. For consultations and turnkey installation, visit us at elcaminoelectricalservices.com.
Going out to Seattle.
Mr. PBC, baby.
Last time I checked, I was the man on these streets. They call me residue, I leave blow on these beats.
I'ma treat him like he's a C+ fighter.
Shit on niggas, even when I'm constipated.
Yo, what's good?
What up?
TBC for life, TBV for life. And I think that if Dillian White would have cleared his name, all these other sanctioning bodies wouldn't have treated him like this. I mean, WBO wouldn't have treated him like this. If he was cleared on the B sample, they would have kept him as something. I mean, if you're going to keep silent and try to duck underneath the radar, you know, these motherfuckers pay attention, you know. So it's not really a big, you know, thing that I wouldn't have expected these motherfuckers not to do. But I gotta say this, and no one has said this, you know, about TBV. You know, if motherfuckers gonna go online and trying to dig up shit about people on TBV and shit like that, nigga, you pussy. And if you with any of those Mr. Dazn type people, bro, you pussy, bro. You bring up government shit, that's not cool, bro. I mean, I ain't gonna speak on who, but hey, you did it, and Nestor, you should give me a motherfucker's boomerang shit. You feel me? That's my motherfucking call.
Mr. PBC, thanks for calling in. That's not my boomerang to give out. You know,
Shout out to Mr. PBC, boy, keeping that shit lit like nigga shit. He ain't using it, dog. Let me use it for the rest of the month. You know what I'm saying?
Let me get to this is not Donald. This is Noah. What up, Noah?
What's going on, California? Good morning to you, brother.
Morning, brother. Y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Woo. All right, man. First and foremost, Dillian White, he don't deserve shit. Yeah, I mean, he do. I'm not gonna say it like that because that's gonna get UK cats fired up. He do deserve something, but do you honestly believe that he's in a better position to try to well, Usyk is unified, and if unification is like to be undisputed, excuse me, not unified, undisputed. If that don't get you something, if that don't get you some kind of clout, some kind of something, then what the fuck are we even doing? What are we even doing? So he knows he's behind him. The WBO, this is one of the only respected moves I've ever seen them do. So I respect them for that, no doubt off top. And Dillian's white brother is starting to get on my nerves, man. Even though he's his manager, so it's like I understand that. Like I understand you playing the political landscape, but that ain't what I'm here for. That ain't what I'm trying
what
to
do.
At all. Not even. Well, man, you hear how he constantly giving this nigga excuses, bro. You don't be hearing none of these BT Sport interviews where he's like, he's going to be vindicated, and all of you are going to have egg on your face. You're going to have egg on your face. I'm like.
I mean, we don't know what he knows just yet. I mean, he could be lying. I get what you're saying.
Well, that's true. What the hell's going on with this B sample then?
Hell if I know, bro. That's the mystery of this year. I'm surprised more people.
How about you tell us something instead of we have an egg on our face?
I'm sure Thomas Hauser's gonna come out with another article though. That's how he works. He's like a part series kind of guy. He doesn't just write one. He's already done 2 on it, so I'm pretty sure he's gonna have something else. He's the one that uncovered.
You already know he is. Yeah, I know. I've actually read the article.
Gotta admit, good job by Eddie, man. Good job by Eddie deflecting. Putting that Saudi Arabia shit out there. don't even bring up Dillian White name that much no more. I'm being real. Saudi Arabia came out. Nigga,
no, that's real.
That Saudi Arabia shit.
But that's Eddie Hearn's job, man. Hey, what do y'all think about that article that came out when it was talking about the most powerful people in boxing? I just seen it this morning on my timeline.
I couldn't read it because you got to pay to get on the athletic.com.
Oh, damn. Well, I guess the computer right here, we already got a subscription there. I was on there reading. So, it's like, man. Nah, but Al Heyman is number 1. And they had Eddie Hearn number 4. Number 4.
I mean, Eddie's powerful. I'm surprised he's number 4. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna support that because I use a lot of the Athletic, man, and gotta support, man. People support us, so we gotta support them. And it's a good article. Jay from Orlando sent it to me. I was able to read it. It's pretty decent.
Who's 2 and 3? Since we already know who 1 and 4 is.
Can't be telling you all that, man. Go support the sport.
Like you did. Somebody sent it to you. Gotcha.
Nah, but if you send it, you don't get to read it, Mike. That would be dumb. You do get a snippet, but the snippet ain't gonna tell you the order or the numbers. They don't let you. That shit locked. But yeah, man. We got some callers. We got a boomeranger. Let's get out to him. Texas, what it do?
JD, motherfucker.
There's a lot of things I like to move, so just try to get on my game on boxing. I don't know why they gonna call me for I'm a 54-pounder, but I have a brother that's at 160.
Yo, what's going on, fellas? Listen, man. As far as I'm concerned with Dillian White, I mean, y'all know how I feel about the guy, man. I don't give a fuck. Him and Big Baby Miller can just duke it out, the battle of the roids. That dude haven't really fought too many Americans, man. I'm just not feeling White. There's something about him. I'm not feeling it. And, I mean, call me a hater. But I'm kind of glad this dude is like getting out of the way, because I was tired of his name being mentioned with Wilder, like he,
Yeah, like but I wanted the fight though. I didn't want him to get put to the side like this. This is sideline Big Baby style. Like I wanted to see Big Baby fight, and I want to see Dillian White fight. I want to see them fight the top, because both of these guys talk, man. Both of these dudes be talking.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, but they can fight each other.
I mean, yeah, that's true. That's true too. That's a good fight.
Yeah, they could just duke it up. Steroids and all. But I mean, I just hate how his name was getting mentioned. But yeah, I did want to fight too, just because I wanted to see him. You know, I wanted to see him get stretched. But nah, that's all I got, man. Just, I mean, even though he already got stretched by Joshua, you know what I'm saying? But would have been good to see him lay down again, because he ducked Ortiz, and I'm gonna keep saying it. But that's all I got, man.
Well, all right, champ. Thanks for calling in. Mike, any final thoughts?
No, man. Just ready for that B sample to come out. Ready for all this shit to be really pretty much done with, man. So we can know which direction we're gonna go into, and if Dillian White is gonna be the mandatory or interim champion for Deontay belt. And I'm just ready to see everything play out, man. So we can stop reporting on where's the B sample. Where's the B sample?
Yeah, man. Our mastermind says, yo, this topic is worn out. Can we talk about something else? I mean, I guess as a whole, it may be worn out, but like, you got to understand, this is new news that the WBO denies the appeal, because imagine it would have came back that they granted the appeal. Then we would be talking about, you know, Dillian White getting a shot at the winner. So, you know, it's not really an old topic. There's different doors in boxing, man, and we got to go down each path. Believe me, as a mastermind, you seen me, man. You know, me and Mike just ain't been able to link up, but there's some talking to do for sure. I got Nazir King, unless you want to add something, Mike. Nope. Nas, talk to me.
Yo, this is off subject, but you guys seen the Yard Kovalev press conference this morning?
Oh my God, I did, man. After I watched it, I was like, damn, should I switch the show to that?
It was good, bro. It was good, but except the translation, but it was good though.
I wouldn't call it good. That shit was horrible. They had no audio except for the translators, and the translator did a very poor job, because she didn't even let you know, Mike, when you was like listening.
Did y'all watch?
Huh?
Which one did y'all watch?
BT Sports.
Yeah, the beginning one, yeah.
I watched IFL. It had all the audio. Big ups to them.
Oh, but they had it. But that's the point. They had it in Russian. So then, like, what's the point, right? So what she had was only the Americans or only English-speaking people you could hear. Then when Kovalev talked, you don't hear him. You just hear her translating. But there's no pause or distinction in her telling you, this is Kovalev, this is a reporter, this is Anthony Yard. It's just one monotone voice of a female saying everything that everyone says. Crazy. Everybody passing headphones or putting on headphones. It was a little weird to me. I don't know how he found that good, but my bad, Nas.
But yeah, no, it's all good. But yeah, yo, Kovalev was disrespectful. He was like, oh, I'm going to turn him into a cub and stuff like that. But then the part that killed me was that Tunde death stare at the end, bro. I was dying.
Yeah. You see that shit, boy? I was like, Tunde gonna have him ready, boy.
I can't wait to see this Saturday. It's gonna be crazy.
Me too. I love it.
But all right, good call though. I appreciate it.
All right.
Nice.
All right.
Well, thanks for calling in. That is our last one. We're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Remember, you can always post suggestions on our community page here on YouTube or Patreon. My name is Nestor Gibbs. Find me on Instagram and Twitter at NestGTO. Peace. Nothing, Mike? Nothing for you?
Gross 1911 on IG and Gross 212 on Twitter. I'm just reading this shit Am said. He said, the letter